Our second in-person meeting. And you know what's sad is that we are still just as ugly this way as we were when we were on Zoom. Sorry. Well, I'm talking about the three of us. I'm not talking about you guys. Well, and John. I like how John took his hat off. Look at that. Can you turn around just real quick so I can make sure my part's okay? That's brutal.
That is really.
You're not doing that on Zoom, are you?
Not yet. Not until he goes. All right, so let's go ahead and let's kick off. Debbie, if you could begin with the roll call.
Mr. Kelly,
Here?
Mr. Freeman,
Here.
and Mr. Campbell.
Here.
All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. We're gonna have Mr. Campbellis lead us with that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pete. All right, Debbie, I think you've got a couple of pieces of business for us right now.
Yes, sir. I request a motion to approve the May 19 regular meeting minutes and the June 2nd special meeting, joint meeting with Parks.
Do we have a motion?
Moved.
Wait, one at a time, guys.
Sorry.
I thought it'd be easier. When we were
So
on Zoom.
Pete's gonna make the motion. Nick, are
I
you
will
okay with?
second.
Look at that shirt of yours, man. It's nice. It's nice.
It's hot.
We have a
I know you
motion.
guys are going with the sport shirt.
We have a motion and a second. Please do the roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
and Mr. Freeman.
Yes. All right, let's do departmental celebrations and updates. Start with Chief Bachman.
Update is we finished our yearly qualifications for firearm last week. Whether ticket just ended, I don't have the numbers yet, but the majority of people were wearing their seatbelts, which is always a plus. And lastly, we, Batavia Township had an interest in some outdated radios from Amelia. The police department had interest in some new radios that the police department was using. So we came up with, they can have the old ones and we can get the new ones, and everybody was happy. So we are still working on property, but it was a nice, both parties felt like they achieved a win. So we got some nice radios for the police department. They got some nice radios for the maintenance department. And I think that's it for the police department.
All right.
This weighs a ton.
Thank you, Chief Bachman. Chief Wright, you're up next.
Celebration, so it's a bit of an update. So we had a fatal auto accident on Bennett Road back on May 25th. Celebration wise, I think I put in an email to you folks and Chief Bachman. Officer Chris Warner did fantastic for us. Merwin Elementary was still in session. We needed their property to land a helicopter. Officer Warner went to the school, made sure all the kids were inside, made them aware, and helped keep the area safe for all the children that were there, which was a huge concern of ours.
Right.
So we appreciated his effort. All of our officers go above and beyond to assist us all the time. Some other updates, it's been an extremely busy couple of weeks for us. We had an officer-involved shooting in Ohio Township last week. 2 days later, we had an auto accident in Ohio Township with multiple people ejected, both overnight. And run-wise, it's been busy the last few days. That is all I have, unless you have questions.
Any question?
No, sir.
Hearing none, thank you.
Thanks.
Looks like it's up to you, John. Create the controversy, man.
We got a nice thank you card from a resident over in Woodside Park. Thanking us for trimming some trees back over on along the sidewalk, along one of those roads. Still learning, Huntsman. And then we met with Batavia Township again at the maintenance building over at Burnham Woods. And they kind of coming up with a game plan to help get rid of a lot more stuff out of there. One of the things that we talked about doing was we can order a scrap metal dumpster from Round Bottom Recycling. It doesn't cost the townships anything. Basically, whatever it brings in, it will, once it reaches the cost of what that dumpster would have cost to have it, we get the remaining above it, and then we'll split it with Batavia Township. They had talked to
50-50.
their people, or to their trustees, and they were on board with it. So I wanted to bring it up to you guys and make sure that you guys were on board with it. There's like an old broken down trailer that is no longer roadworthy. So, and a bunch of scrap metal that's piled up on it. So it'd be a chance to get rid of that for them.
Right.
And then, so hopefully that will clean that up and we'll be done with that portion.
That'd be good. Did you guys have any questions about the recycle bin?
No.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
The only question that I had is, what if it's less?
You don't get charged.
Okay,
It won't be.
just curious.
It won't be. There's a lot of scrap metal piled up on that trailer that it's piled up there, so.
Yeah.
Scrap prices must be going up. Catalytic converters being sold off.
Really?
You tell us prices for scrap.
They're up, but
There's a certain type of metal in the catalytic converter, I don't know what it is, it's some strip of something that we're black. So we've got a few of them.
you're probably not getting rich off it though.
No, sure. So I shouldn't plan that as my,
I'd
side
say-
hustle?
I send dump trucks full of aluminum down all the time. It's not as much as you think.
I did also want to thank John, the service department. I don't know if you've noticed, they've done a ton of work around the complex here, rebuilding catch basins, squaring up the parking lots, adding areas that where vehicles have dropped off. I know I was out there a couple days ago and they were working, putting some blacktop down and around that hot box. It was absolutely miserable. And our guys did an outstanding job.
That leads me to a question about Dorado Court. Have we heard anything yet from Barrett about a timeframe?
No, when I talked to them, they said that they're going to try to pair us up when they do Claremont County's roads.
Right.
And with the way the weather's been, they can't pinpoint. Typically, they only give me like a 2 or 3 week notice when they're coming because they can't say we're gonna be here on this date because they don't know how many days of rain they're gonna have that far out.
Is it also another issue of there's so many raw materials that are having a problem?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's just a matter of weather and quantity.
Yeah, and when they got us placed,
Right.
in line with everything. So.
Right.
But as far as I know, there's no shortage on material for asphalt. So.
Well, that's good, because I know that the folks over there are anxious to get that project
Oh, yeah.
rolling. So. Anything else for us?
That would be all.
Okay. All right, administration. No, wait, planning and zoning. Sorry, I didn't want to overlook you. Parks, well.
Got a pretty good update last week.
That's what I was thinking.
Nothing new?
Thank you for that marathon meeting last week. I think it was very productive. I did finally receive the last meeting pricing today in my email, so we'll get that, those sheets updated and my typos fixed. Get that.
I just found like one, and then you guys have been beating on me ever since.
But I'm gonna get that as correction to make an update on the trustees this week.
We need to get Alan a red pen and a pair of glasses he can look over top of. Talks about the spelling errors. Did you guys have like a list of any action items from that meeting? Not that I'm necessarily requesting it, I was just curious if you.
Yeah, there's definitely some action items and actually Mark Can reached out to me. I met with him last night. There's some really good ideas as far as helping me take some of the items from the list and getting it into an action plan type format and share with the trustees.
Okay.
And hopefully also low-hanging fruit that, it's volunteer work or not a lot of dollars that, can be taken care of. Just trying to plan and prioritize that way. So it's very productive. I really appreciate reaching out and what he put together was pretty good. So I'm going to distribute that to committee members, all copy the trustees, just so you can see it.
Great.
But to distribute that to the park committee and go over it in more detail our next meeting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sounds good.
And kudos to John and the guys in the service department for getting the history trail signs all installed with the concrete pads, and they look awesome. And we went over there and walked it and read the signs and enjoyed it. And today I was over there taking some pictures for some other things we're going to put in the bulletin board for the 4th of July, and saw several people actually stop reading those. So I think it's having an impact already. And there again, they were out there on those not so cool days messing with all that too. So
I think I saw you and Darlene working on a bench today, yesterday.
yeah, we can gladly report that we're down to our last 2 of 16 benches.
Wow.
For rehab, and they'll be done by the last 2 are at the playground, and they'll be easily done by the 4th of July. And the wood for the sign that goes up by the dog park is laying in my basement, staying ready to go, and John and I are going to install that next Monday or Thursday. And so Lori has a sign on order, so that should all be set and ready to go too.
Great.
Thanks,
Sent me
guys.
pictures of
Appreciate
that
it.
sign, and it looks amazing.
Does it?
Yes.
It's cool.
It should. The cost of cedar has skyrocketed.
Yeah, exactly.
Any building material.
Exactly. We went camping the other day, and four people from the campground tried to steal our firewood so they could fix their house. So that never happened. I made that up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where are you camping at, dude?
Don't quit your day job.
All right. Anything else? All right. Then it's up to Eddie, planning and zoning activity.
So we posted the planning and zoning assistant position. So hopefully some applications will be rolling in sooner than later. Last month was really busy. We had just single family dwellings alone. We had 18 new permits. For reference, we had 7 in all year in 2016. So that's just single family homes alone. So pretty busy overall, which is good. We also received 2 applications for the zoning alternate position as well. So that'll be later on the agenda.
Right.
And I think that's all I've got.
Okay. I know you've had a couple of complaint issues that, zoning complaints that you've been working on and rather diligently. So I thank you for that. A couple of them that I've been involved with. So
Thank you.
it's been a rough month, huh?
Busy season.
Good. Well,
Lots of rain,
that's maybe not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not a bad thing. You have anything else?
That's all I've got.
Okay. Loretta, administration.
Yes, I just wanted to fill in a little bit more about the discussion of the Amelia items. So we had earlier authorized, the trustees had earlier authorized any disposition of items less than $1,000 value that you would leave that to the department head. So that's something else as far as shovels and rakes and, saws, whatever, that when the maintenance crews went through the building, they're also going to distribute those items. If one department needs them and the other doesn't, then they'll work through it. But it's really not necessary to sell those items on gov.deals. They're really better used fire crews. So they're working that out as well. And as Chief Bachman reported, there's several 5,000 series, I think, AR radios that Batavia Township had asked for, which was excellent. There were 3 police ready radios that our police department were able to use and benefit from. So there are no sales of any of those items that'll be proposed. The last reporting I had, and I have not heard anything more about Amelia meeting other than what was in their last packet, which said that there's a meeting intended for June the 17th at 7 p.m. That's all I know at this point. There's nothing new posted on their website. There's no materials posted on their website. The last meeting that we had together was on April the 30th. And, they were saying at that time that they anticipate 2 more meetings. And so our law director, Tom Keating, had reported that at the prior meeting. We have not received an answer to the other inquiry that we had sent to Rita at this point that I'm aware of. So I believe that's really all else that I have to report other than the items on the agenda.
Okay. All right, old business. I don't see anything on the list, but is there anything that anyone wanted to bring up?
Actually, from last month, excuse me, you approved the purchase of the server. The server has been received. Our vendor is working on getting it installed in the server rack and doing some things in the background, and they can remote it and start the setup for us.
Perfect. Anything else? All right, then let's move on to new business. Debbie, you're up.
I request a motion for approval of the payment of the payroll for the month of May in the amount of $340,119.05.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
and Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
I request a motion for approval of payment of the bills for the month of May in the amount of $357,087.66.
So moved.
Second.
There's a typo,
Typo.
missing a
man.
comma.
Missing color. I've seen that.
Sorry.
You are
This-
such.
This version is
Typo,
correct. It
man.
was corrected, but I'd already made these copies. I didn't think it was worth another waste of paper
Oh, so you,
for a comma.
I don't know about that. Okay.
I think the best response to that is, oh my gosh, Alan, you caught another one?
You're so smart. You are so smart.
Proofreading master.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion on that matter? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
I request a motion to approve payment of $2,700 for prepaid time block for IT services with CSM. And we do this every, when it runs out, we renew it.
Right.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on it? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Anything else, Debbie? Before we go,
Yeah.
I knew there would be.
This was sent to the fiscal officers only, so I sent it out to you guys, and I don't know if you got it yet or not. But Claremont County will be commemorating the 20th anniversary of 9/11 with a short and solemn event. And they would appreciate having as many trustees as possible to attend. And there is a flyer that I did receive with it.
Yeah, I got the email from you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that will be at the courthouse on 270 East Main Street.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Oh, thank you. Chief Wright, you're up.
I request a motion to accept the resignation of full-time firefighter paramedic Jared Boots effective June 8th, 2021 at 0600 hours. Jared has accepted a position with the Cincinnati Fire Department.
So moved.
I'll second.
Does he think that's some sort of a promotion?
After he told me what he'll make after 4 years,
What promotion? Okay, all right, all right. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Thank you. I request a motion to approve the appointment of Corey Barney as a full-time firefighter paramedic, established rate for the collective bargaining agreement. Pending successful completion of all pre-employment requirements and serving a 1-year probationary period, noting that all associated expenses be out of the township. So this would be to backfill the slot that was just created by Mr. Boots' resignation. And I apologize, Mr. Barney was unable to be here tonight.
That's okay. Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
and Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Thank you. I request a motion to accept the resignations of part-time firefighter paramedics Alex Swart and Sarah Burial effective May 28th, 2021.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Real quick, how many part-time and how many full-time do we have again?
We've got 21 full-time and part-time fluctuates. I think we're about 25 right now. These two individuals haven't worked since pre-COVID, and we're just trying to clean up the roster. And one of them has some medical issues going on, and the other one's a nurse.
Okay.
Just not able to work at this time.
All right, just curious. I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Thank you. I request a motion to approve the purchase of a Power Pro XT cot load and load system and associated accessories from Stryker Medical in the amount of $44,693.59. Donating this expense will come from the EMS fund. So this is our power cot and load system for the remaining ambulance that doesn't have one, and it was budgeted for this year.
And that covers all, at this point, we have, all the ambulances have the power cots.
3 of the 4 will. So
Okay.
one of Ohio townships will not have one in it, but it's the ambulance they bought to get by until they were in a position to buy a new one, hopefully in the next year.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Service Director Kohler, you're up.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion to accept the quote of $11,908.44 for a dumping hopper and hydraulic jackhammer from Bobcat.
So moved.
Way cool.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on the matter? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion to accept the quote of $7,581.24 for signage in the Sedona Ridge subdivision from Clean.
Specifically? What is the signage for?
Yeah.
It's to bring all of their signs up to code.
Okay. The street signs.
Street signs,
Okay.
yes, and the stop signs, the no parking signs, they're all very faded.
Okay,
Some of them, you can't even read them.
I got you. Just curious.
And they're all going to be uniform with those in the township.
Yeah.
Consistent.
and we're just doing it in phases. The whole thing needs to be replaced, but we're trying to keep the cost down as much as possible and just do it in smaller blocks. Do so much this year and then so much next year. Hopefully by the end of next year, we'll have it all up to par. It's a lot of signs,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Mr. Kohler, you're still up.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion for a resolution 2021-018, a resolution requesting a speed study on Pond Run Road in Pierce Township.
So I'll make that motion, and I think it's very timely. I was almost cut off today in the bend by somebody flying around that corner, and it was wet. So, it was probably inches from a collision.
Geez,
Yeah,
dude.
they were flying.
I said I was sorry. Okay?
What's the speed limit over there again?
It's like 40.
It's 40.
Yeah, it's twisting and turning and, it's not a 40-mile-an-hour road. We'll see what happens.
And that is,
What's 749 again?
749 is 10-mile road.
Yeah.
I think
what's
it's
the speed limit?
50 or something.
It's
In some
50.
parts, it's 50, yeah.
If it's unmarked,
55.
it's 55.
I think there's portions of it that are 45 and portions of it that are 55.
Yeah, that's not going to change. The state's not going to change that.
So
Yeah.
ultimately,
I was just curious, as opposed to some of the other speed studies we've done. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask the county. Might as well use that resource and see what they come up with. I'm not opposed to the lowering the speed. I'm just wondering what the
Okay.
probability that it's actually going to happen.
On that
Slim.
one,
I would think.
you might see 35, but I think it's going to be a long stretch. because the amount of traffic that's on the road, there's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So,
And the county engineer is going to make that decision ultimately, is that correct?
I believe it's actually, I think it's
ODOT, the
ODOT
county
makes
does a
the
study
decision.
and sends information to ODOT.
ODOT.
ODOT has to approve
Right.
any changes. on
And we've
state
sent,
routes.
we've sent what? White Oak, we've done, I think we've done Merwin 10 Mile. How many different?
West Concord.
Yeah, you've got Concord most recently, right?
Yeah, I was curious just in general, exactly, because I sent like a whole email about Locust Corner and being in front of our building and the park and all that stuff. 45, and people obviously don't go for it. I assume they have a tendency in general, statistically speaking, to go a certain amount over, probably 50, 55. That was ignored. So I say ignored. I don't know. I guess somebody looked at it, but
I think we requested a speed study to be done
Yeah.
on Locust Corner.
We did.
Back for when we were going to the park and stuff.
Yeah,
That, and they, to no avail.
yeah, and they turned us down there too.
anyway.
My favorite was when we put the no truck sign on Bradbury and they told us to take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, all right. I will second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion to accept the lowest and best bid from Cargill Incorporated for the 2021-2022 winter season to purchase up to 1,000 ton of road salt for a cost of $58,190 at the rate of $58.19 per ton dump delivery, or $66,190 at the rate of $66.19 per ton piler delivery, with the option as ordered by the township.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Second.
So you're getting a head start on winter. Get a better price when you do it in June.
This is when we always do it.
Yeah.
We actually go through a called SWAT for G. It's a collaborative of a bunch of entities that they give a better price for a loan. So.
Do you remember when we were going over the budget for the transportation project? And we're sitting here, we're like, and then since it's been such a nice, calm winter, we'll be able to take some of the savings from the salt and we'll put it over on road repairs. The very next day, what happened?
That whole month of February, we were pounding.
I was like, well, there goes that money.
Murphy's Law.
I will never say that again.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes. John, you're busy. You're up again.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion to accept the quote of $4,550 for painting of the administration building, the common areas from Purdon's Pro Painting Plus.
Is this considered a common area in here?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the trustees parlor, the hallway, the main area, and then that hallway, everything, basically the whole building except for the offices.
Bathrooms?
The bathrooms, no.
No, okay.
No, that's small enough, we can take care of that throughout the winter and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's money well spent, particularly all the other money we've spent in here to make this place look nice. So I'll make the motion.
The thing that I want to ask is, who's going to pick out what colors? Do you guys want to go back to same colors? Do you want?
Do we need to, that's not, I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't be my department.
Well, I know what I would recommend. I would recommend the person who has to sit in this office every day and look at it. So Debbie?
Okay.
I kind of figured that was going to happen. I just wanted to make sure.
As long as you don't get something really weird,
Well, you know what color I picked in for my office in there?
What was it, green?
Yeah, like a real
Seafoam?
seafoam. It's pretty. I get a lot of compliments on
It's
it.
sad that I knew that color.
Green is supposed to be a calming color.
Color.
Didn't work in that often.
Hey.
Ouch.
I really thought it was a great price on the bid.
Yeah.
I mean, they're patching all the holes in every hole.
Yeah.
in the wall,
That's a lot of painting.
Everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of
That
work.
was better than the first one you got.
A lot better.
A lot.
The first one I got for 15 grand.
Wow, that is a good price. I'll make the motion unless Nick already made it.
Nick already made
Did he
it.
make it? Okay, I'll second it.
So we've got a motion, a second. Any
He
further
went out
discussion?
of order, Pete.
I'm sorry.
Now, see, in the old days, we worked this out.
Let's alternate.
I'm not a conventional.
I know, yeah. No
I'm all
straight
over the
line.
place. Just have to get used to it.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes. If only we could do something about the flooring. Maybe get a new carpet in here.
Uh,
Well, maybe I should read ahead. John, you're still up.
Service Director John Kohler requests a motion to accept the quote of $11,776.44 for the carpeting, the administration building common areas from the M&S Wholesale Carpet and Flooring.
And I want to ask a question about this, John. Is this carpeting or is it going to be like a laminate or what?
It's carpet squares.
Oh, okay.
So basically, like you get a stain on it, we'll be able to pull one up, put a new one down.
Okay.
And that will help keep it a little bit better. The only thing that worries me is these skylights in this area that they're gonna really fade. And then you put a new one in and it's gonna be, might be
Weird.
brighter than the stain that was there, but at least we had the option. I was worried about the laminate part because of the echo.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we did the upgrades to all the audio equipment in here, we asked the company that did it, and that was a concern they shared with laminate or tile, or we even talked about like an epoxy coating. They were afraid that the acoustics in here would echo and would have issues during meetings.
Okay.
But it'd be, barring the fading issue, it will be nice because if we do have a stain, like there's a couple of stains that have accumulated over the years, you just lift it out rather than have this whole mess, so.
You see a lot in like CVS stores, have carpet squares. They seem to hold up really well.
And a darker color that would not show stains as much would be.
Yeah, I think like a gray, something kind of neutral that would, which will let Debbie pick that color out too.
That's right.
Me and Debbie's gonna be driving around a lot.
She'll be handling the interior decorating.
And on that note, I'll make the motion.
There we go.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Loretta, you're up.
You. We've talked about this before and you basically asked me to prepare this, but I wanted to officially put it on the record, requesting a motion to proceed with delivery of notices to initiate the Glenmere Residential Incentive District 2.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Delivery of notice, just for my better understanding, Loretta.
So in order to create a tax increment financing district, a notice must be delivered to the property owners 30 days before we hold a public hearing. My goal is to have that public hearing on July the 14th and get these notices delivered by the end of this week. Then there's also a 14-day notice prior to the hearing that needs to go to the school district. We'll do that as well. And then following the public hearing, then you can make a decision as to whether you want to draft a resolution in order to actually pass the legislation needed in order to create that district. We could do that in August, is my goal.
Okay, thanks.
School districts.
There's only one in this case. Oh, I'm sorry, you mean the vocational school district and. the
Yeah,
Western
don't forget
District.
those two.
Yes, no, absolutely. We have the documents drafted by Brenda Weaver, our legal.
And the anticipation is that it'll be a 1075 TIF. 10 years, 75%.
That was what was discussed, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I just wanted to make sure we're still on the same page. Okay. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
No, Nick already did.
Oh, second.
Did you already make a motion? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, a second.
The motion second. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Loretta?
Thank you. In your packets, you had received a letter from Rex Parsons, trustee from Batavia Township, asking that we would allow them to take certain memorabilia from the former village. or display at their property. So I request a motions for the granting of historical items and memorabilia from the Village of Amelia to Batavia Township for public display.
What kind of display are they gonna have?
They plan to actually put something in their front lobby area where things can be shown specific to Amelia.
Make the motion.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. As an aside from that, and I don't want to dwell on it too long, as far as the history trail that we have, this may be a good fit for something over in one of the Amelia Parks, well, formerly Amelia Parks, a history trail as well along some of the paths that are over there. So maybe if we could just put that into the hopper
Yeah,
as a
keep that in
thought.
mind. I mean, George
Yeah.
was sure to include some Amelia items in
Right.
that street trail. We were sure.
Right, but it might be nice to, have some markers along. And I don't know how, I don't remember what our costs were on the trail we did over there. I think it came out of a portion of the grant from OKI or one of the grants.
We ended up having to take it and
Did we?
manage it
Okay.
separately, but it was not very.
Right. Just a thought. I mean, it's something that we can add in so that it's relevant in the parks where Amelia used to be. So,
Because of the group effort, it was very reasonable.
yeah. All right. Loretta, you're still up.
We had reviewed the COVID-19 impact framework plan several meetings ago. It's been posted on our website. It's no longer a draft document. So I request consideration of a motion to adopt the COVID-19 impact framework plan as a tool for future planning.
This is the result of the red tiger stuff, right?
Mhm.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. I think it was a very high quality study. I have a lot of good information in here.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion of the matter? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. All right. All right, we've got other business, unless Loretta, you've got something more. Okay. Zoning Commission alternate member, do we want to discuss that now?
So as you know, we have a vacancy as one of our alternates. Terms expired on May 31st. So we received 2 applications. We sent those over. It's Mr. Higgins and Mr. Bergman are the 2 applications that we received.
Okay, so are we looking for a motion to appoint somebody this evening?
And we have one vacancy, right?
We do, yes.
Do we have any others coming up anytime soon?
Not in the near term, no.
Okay.
It's the zoning commission generally, it's May of each year kind of cycles. Someone cycles in and out.
May of next year then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the alternate positions are 2-year terms.
Okay.
Well, I would feel compelled to make a motion to appoint Mr. Bergman.
I think they were both very qualified. I don't know that, I don't know that we could have had more qualified candidates apply. So I support Nick's recommendation and I would second that, but both very qualified in my opinion.
So we have a motion for Mr. Bergman. We have a second for Mr. Bergman. Steve was also, when we did the last appointment, a reappointment of Jeff Stitt, Bergman had applied for the full seat, if you guys recall that. And so he said that he would be willing to shift down to, not shift down, but shift over to the alternate position. So Steve is very, very qualified for the job. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes?
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes. All right, so public comment, open floor discussion. Any discussion? Anybody would, yes. Now's your turn. And I typically don't, harass the guests, so you're lucky.
Well, I'm the only guest here, I guess, so I'm
Until
glad you're not
now.
harassing anybody. So my name is Paul Home, and I represent Home and Farms LLC. We have 76 acres on Locust Corner, and Home and Farms LLC has an interest to run a private drive from Locust Corner Road at a location bordering the park to allow for the ability to run water to the property for development of a maximum of 15 lots with minimum acreage 5 acres. For your review and consideration, Home and Farms LLC, the buyer, offers to purchase property bordering the park estimated, and again, estimated, we haven't done any sightline surveys or anything. Roughly 1 to 1.5 acres to be surveyed at the buyer's expense for future presentation to the board for approval for $20,000. With approval, buyer will provide improvements that will include fencing along the border of the shared property line with the park at a length to be determined by mutual agreement of all parties and consideration for trees lining the property to complement. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to moving this project forward. Now, do I need to request anything, or do I submit this for review and next steps are determined by you?
Well, Loretta, and Eddie, where do we stand on, do we have site plans? Do we have, where do we stand in the process, zoning process?
It doesn't require our zoning review because they would use the county subdivision regs for 5 acre
So it
lots, correct?
Yeah, they're 5 acre lots, so they're exempt from zoning. So we don't have a formal application or anything in the office.
So what you have is a formal proposal for purchase.
Correct,
Okay.
and we do actually have supporting documents regarding traffic, tax basis, and all of that. I'm actually working with Carl Hartman on that, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be here, and obviously he didn't make it.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah, so we had talked about a private session, but we're happy to present that
Okay.
in the right setting.
Okay. Loretta, do you want to accept his
Yeah, I would
proposal?
say Debbie on one hand for the public record and then we'll
Right.
share it.
Okay, that sounds good. So you just give it to Debbie and then we'll accept that as an official proposal for our consideration.
I'd like to ask for more comfortable chairs.
We did that and we got them. So, yeah.
So moved.
Well, just remember next time you need to bring those pads, like if you're in a stadium or something.
I will do that.
All right. Any further? She got her hands up first. You gotta wait.
Can you tell me the historical items memorabilia, is that still in the old building?
It's there's some in the police building, there's some in the administration building, both.
And the exhibit A, will that be available to look at online for people to see
It
what's
is not at this stage. I imagine that we could, I can show you, I'm happy to show you this piece of paper.
He had some pictures of it that I saw.
Yeah, this is what was in
That's-
the packet.
So you could, did you get that via email
I
from
can make you
him?
a copy of this even.
Or just
yeah.
email it to her?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that'd be perfect, thank you. And then the rest of the items that they're not going to put into their display, what's going to happen with all of that stuff?
That's all yet to be determined. There's still a lot of
still yet to be
contents that we
determined.
still have to, we still have to inventory,
Sure.
we have to sort out what's appropriate to be captured or what might be for sale.
Okay, thank you very much. The second thing, I wanted to say thank you to the police department. I had an incident at my house Sunday morning that involved an individual who was trying to get in my garage.
I saw that.
And I called Monday morning to whoever answers your phone.
It wasn't me.
She calmed me back down and she told me what was going on. So I appreciated her calming me down. So now I have peace of mind knowing that there's not some stranger running around trying to get in my garage. He was very well dressed, short sleeve knit shirt, khaki pants. Well, I thought he was going to a picnic, but maybe someone wanted some chairs or something. I'm like, because he didn't touch our cars, nothing else but that. But he had a medical emergency kind of thing. So I just wanted to help say thank you to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Your turn.
Township.
Technically, you're supposed to come up to the microphone, but we're gonna let you get by with it this time. Okay?
I'll try to speak up so everybody can hear.
There you go.
I've spent plenty of years at the microphone, I'm good.
You're good.
I should have brought this up earlier under celebrations. The township had recognized Lori Wilson with the Claremont County Chamber of Commerce earlier this year for an award. And she will be awarded that on June 21st at the dinner at the Oasis.
Right.
I'm not sure if you guys got notice of that or not, but
yeah.
Anyway, Darlene and I were planning on going, and I think it would be good if others showed up for that recognition as well, and I just wanted to remind everybody of that. Typically, we purchase a table for the
Yes,
event.
that's something that was going to catch you before you left, because I've emailed you a reminder, and so I expect them to tell me how many to make it.
Yeah, so typically we purchase a table. It's just now, this will be the first, well, since COVID, we're now back in the room. And so, it's kind of disjointed a little bit, but, I think we'll probably do the same thing as we've done in the past.
What's
That's
the
on
date
the
on that
21st.
again?
21st, Monday,
July 21st.
Monday, July. What time is that, Loretta?
June or July?
It's July,
Oh, July, excuse me.
July at the Oasis Conference Center.
It's a Wednesday, July 21st.
At 5:30, start and ending at 8:30 promptly, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's the Lincoln Day dinner's the 18th.
Are you going?
The 18th of June,
Lincoln Day dinner,
June.
but we don't discuss that here.
So on the point of attending the celebration for the chamber, are more than one of us permitted to attend? Based on.
You're allowed to go to social activities, you just can't discuss business while you're there.
Okay.
Leave that to.
Okay, I thought so, but I guess I wanted clarification. Okay.
We can actually even go to dinner together as long as we're not discussing.
Oh, man, I thought I was using that as an excuse.
I know. Shoot, I shouldn't have let that out. Darn it.
Oh, man.
Nick, we can
Darn
issue an
it.
opinion that you cannot have dinner.
If you
Thank
could.
you, I appreciate it.
And we don't pay for spouses. You have to-
And how many are accommodated at the table?
Eight.
I wanna
10.
say eight.
Eight
Yeah,
or
I'll say
10.
eight.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Remember the year I was sitting there at the table singing?
$700 for a
You're
ticket.
like, shut up.
I don't remember that.
So we'll be there. We'll be there to celebrate Lori.
Yep, I will be able to make that so we can put the table together.
You will not?
Do it.
I will.
Okay, cool. Good.
So that's 3 of the 10.
3 of the 10. Nobody else
So
wants to sit
I
with us?
presume that the parks folks could sit at our same table.
No.
Enough space, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it. Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Did you already make your reservation?
No, we have not yet.
Okay, then
Yeah, just
hold
sit
on.
Just like I forgot to mention it earlier in the meeting, I
Me too. That's why I have it here.
And Lori would sit at our table too, I assume?
I presume she's allowed to bring her own guests too. I don't know how many she can bring, so but she's certainly already covered.
Guess you can figure out if we need 1 or 2 tables.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point. All right. Anything else? All right. If we're done with the open floor discussion, it's time for us to go into executive session. It says the quote I have to read directly or the lawyer will yell at me.
Before you say anything, I'll start yelling.
In other words, you have the right to remain silent, Alan.
I would like these to be two two separate noted motions.
Okay.
As opposed to one combined.
All right.
So the first motion will be, that I'm looking for, is as authorized by revised code section 121.22G1 to consider the investigation or charges against a township employee, period.
Is that the end of the motion?
That's the end of the motion. That's the one I'm looking for right
I'll
now.
make that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Now, the second motion that I'm looking for, yes, is as authorized by the revised code, section 121.22G2, to consider the sale of unneeded real property pursuant to revised code, section 505.10A6.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
And I'll second.
Roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
And Mr. Freeman.
Yes. Now, if we're going to have an action afterwards,
We are anticipating an action on one.
okay. So just so you know, we are anticipating action on one. So when we come back, it's likely we'll have a motion that we'll do. So it'll still be a live meeting after that. So since we've got both motions passed, we can now adjourn to the background. Okay. We'll be back.
I'll be back.
We need to build a caucus room like right here. So we just leave and then come right back. Roll call, please, Debbie.
7:55.
We
Mr.
have-
Campbellis,
Yes.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
and Mr. Freeman.
Yes. We're back. Officially, we're back. All right. So one of the things that we discussed during executive session is the sale of real estate. It's not really a sale that we are executing, but we are party to. It's a piece of property in Amelia, former city of Amelia, but on the Batavia side. I guess on Tuesday night, the Batavia Township trustees took this up and voted to approve the sale of these properties. And I'll let either Loretta or I'll let Warren.
When I say where it is, most people understand it's Lori Lane. So these are the two parcels that are on the Batavia Township side at Lori Lane that were formerly Village of Amelia properties.
But because of the transaction that was put in place January, February of 2020.
We did engage a real estate agent that had come through the trustees, Everest Real Estate Group. And so that broker brought forward a purchase contract.
I was going further back. I was talking about the agreement, the real estate agreement or the property agreement we made with Batavia Township, where we split any sale of the properties. So that's why it comes back before this board to actually do a motion or do a motion to approve the sale of the property. While we did not necessarily negotiate the transaction, we are a party to it. Correct?
Yeah, we're on the deed.
Yeah.
All the properties.
Yes.
Right, we have full control. Well, we have equal control because there's 6 trustees that have to make any of these
Right.
decisions, but the proceeds are split 65-35.
So having said all that, we would need a motion to approve, as Batavia Township did, the sale of these properties. So I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make that motion.
I think we have a written motion.
Yeah.
Yes, we need the motion read.
He has to read it. He made the motion.
Unless you want me to read it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll read the motion. I move that the Board of Trustees accept the written purchase offer dated June the 8th, 2021 from Gregory Properties in the amount of $75,000 with modifications as proposed by the administrator to sell Batavia Township's 35% interest and Pierce Township's 65% interest in parcels located at 1410 State Route 125 and identified as parcel identification numbers 05455-1C019, parcel number 05455-1C018, and 050118032, which have been marketed by Everest Real Estate, and furthermore authorize the Pierce Township Administrator to execute any documents related to the sale of the property after review and approval by the Pierce Township Law Director and based upon the unanimous approval by the Batavia Township Board of Trustees of the same offer dated June the 8th, 2021 with modifications.
Oh, man, I will second.
Aren't you glad you didn't make that motion?
I'm thirsty after that.
Okay, so can you read that back to me, Debbie? Do you have all that? She can, look at that. All right, so we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yep. Second.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. So we have a motion, a second. Do we have any further discussion on the matter? Loretta?
Not guaranteed. It's Batavia Township zoning decision. I mean, it has to comply with Batavia Township zoning.
Right. So. Anything else? All right. We have a motion. We have a second. If there's no further discussion on the matter, let's do the roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes. And I think it's important to note that this was done because we made a point of making sure that these pieces of property were put out for everyone's opportunity to purchase it. We did go through a commercial realtor who put this out to the market. And this is what the best offer was that came back. Correct, Loretta?
It was based upon the offering price that we had posted.
Right. So with that, we are up to the magical moment called adjournment. So if we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have to have a second.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion of the matter? Seeing none, roll call, Debbie.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.